Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in the most isolated and exclusive place on the planet, where only 3,500 people have the privilege of calling it home? While you complain about traffic or the price of gasoline, there is a secret community living in a completely different reality, the Falkland Islands. But here's the brutal truth that no one tells you: you will probably never be able to move there, no matter how much money you have. The biggest lie you've been told about freedom of movement is that you can live anywhere you want if you have enough resources. The Falkland Islands completely shatter this illusion. It's not about wanting or being able to pay, it's about being chosen by a community that decides who deserves to be a part of it. The curiosities surrounding this extreme selectivity go far beyond what you can imagine. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind this geographic exclusivity that will completely change your perspective on freedom in the modern world. The geography of the Falkland Islands hides secrets that few know, and today, you will discover why some people manage to live in this isolated paradise and why you, most likely, never will. Imagine living in a place where the nearest neighbor is more than 400 kilometers away, where winds regularly blow at 100 kilometers per hour, and where you need to plan your shopping 3 months in advance. This is the reality of the Falkland Islands, an archipelago lost in the South Atlantic that is home to only about 3,500 inhabitants brave enough to call it home. The geography of these islands is not just impressive, it is brutal, shaping every aspect of daily life for its residents. When it comes to extreme geographic curiosities, few places in the world can compete with this isolated reality. The distance is not just a number on a map, it is a physical and psychological barrier that defines who can survive in this environment. We are talking about a place where the nearest city is in Argentina, 480 kilometers away across rough seas, and where a simple medical emergency can become a matter of life or death depending on weather conditions. The geography of the Falkland Islands is so challenging that only 1 in 1,000 people who consider moving there actually manage to adapt permanently. The curiosities of life in these conditions reveal a reality that few are prepared to face. But here's what most people don't realize: this extreme geography is not just an obstacle, it's also what makes the Falkland Islands one of the most unique places on the planet to live. When you understand that only people with a very specific mindset can thrive in this environment, it starts to make sense why the population is so small and controlled. Natural selection happens not only in the animal kingdom but also among the humans who try to put down roots in this isolated patch of land. This geographic exclusivity creates a unique community, where everyone knows each other, and where social bonds are stronger than anywhere you've ever seen. Here's one of the most shocking curiosities about the Falkland Islands: you simply can't decide to move there as you would to any other place in the world. The Falkland Islands government has one of the most restrictive immigration systems on the planet, where each new resident must go through a process that would make American visas seem like child's play. First, you need a confirmed job offer from a local employer, who must prove to the authorities that no current resident can perform the same job. It's like trying to enter an ultra-exclusive club where only members can nominate new members. The isolated geography of the Falkland Islands has created a unique legal necessity to protect the limited resources for current residents. Unlike other British territories, where UK citizenship guarantees certain rights, in the Falklands, there is a special status called Falkland Island status that serves as an extra layer of protection. Even if you're a British citizen, you don't have automatic right to permanent residency. The local government strictly controls who enters and who stays, based on criteria ranging from specific professional skills to the ability to adapt to extreme isolation. But the most interesting part comes now. Once you obtain this special status, you become part of one of the most closed communities in the world. The legal curiosities don't stop there. There are specific laws regarding land ownership, fishing rights, and even regulations on how many pets you can have. This unique legal structure has been developed over decades to maintain the delicate balance between preserving the local community and allowing controlled growth. And when you discover how much it truly costs to live in this isolated paradise, you'll understand why these legal barriers are just the beginning of the challenges. Prepare for a reality check. A simple pizza in the Falkland Islands can cost the equivalent of 150 Brazilian reals, and a liter of milk easily reaches 25 Brazilian reals. This is not an exaggeration or an isolated curiosity. It's the brutal economic reality of living in one of the most geographically isolated places on the planet. Every product that reaches the Falklands needs to be transported by ship or plane, going through a complex logistics process that multiplies costs by at least 5 times. When you realize that a simple refrigerator can cost over 15,000 Brazilian reals due to shipping costs, you begin to understand why only people with very specific resources can maintain a decent standard of living on these islands. The geography of the Falkland Islands creates a unique economic phenomenon in the world, an economy completely dependent on imports, where even basic items like fresh fruit are treated as luxury goods. Imagine paying 30 Brazilian reals for an apple or 80 Brazilian reals for a kilo of meat that would cost 25 Brazilian reals in Brazil. The residents have developed financial survival strategies that include making collective orders to reduce shipping costs, growing their own gardens whenever possible, and planning shopping months in advance. One of the most impressive curiosities is that many families spend more on transporting goods than on the goods themselves. But here's the secret that few know: despite the absurd costs, some residents of the Falkland Islands have surprisingly high financial quality of life. Salaries are proportionally adjusted to compensate for some of these high costs, and many essential professions receive significant government subsidies. Professionals like doctors, teachers, and specialized technicians can earn between £50,000 and £80,000 annually, amounts that, by local standards, allow for a comfortable life. The trick is understanding that you need to completely rethink your relationship with money and consumption when geography and logistics become the biggest determinants of your household budget. With only 3,500 inhabitants, the Falkland Islands have a job market you can literally count on your fingers, and this is one of the most fascinating curiosities about the local economy. There are basically 6 sectors that dominate employment: fishing, agriculture, mainly sheep, tourism, government, healthcare, and education. If you don't fit into any of these areas, your chances of finding work are practically zero. The island's isolated geography has created a highly specialized economy where professionals such as underwater welders, sheep veterinarians, and helicopter pilots are treated like gold. A fishing equipment technician can earn more than £60,000 annually, a sum that would be unthinkable for the same position elsewhere. The job market in the Falklands functions like a perfectly tuned machine, where every position is crucial to keeping the community running. For example, there is only 1 dentist for the entire population, 2 veterinarians, and 3 general practitioners. When one of these positions becomes vacant, it's literally an event that moves the whole community. The recruitment curiosities are impressive. Sometimes it takes more than 2 years to find a qualified teacher willing to move to the islands. The government offers relocation packages that include free housing for 2 years, annual flights to the UK, and adaptation bonuses that can reach £15,000. But here's the hidden opportunity that few see: if you have specific skills that the Falkland Islands need, not only will you get a job, you'll become an essential person in a small community. Professionals like telecommunications technicians, renewable energy engineers, or aquaculture specialists practically have job security for life. The island's unique geography is creating demands for professions that didn't even exist 20 years ago, such as air transport logistics specialists for remote areas or marine biologists focused on sustainable fishing. And when you discover how social life works in this ultra-restricted environment, you'll understand why some people never want to leave. Social life in the Falkland Islands is like living in a small rural town, but multiplied by 1,000, where literally everyone knows everyone, and your reputation follows you forever. With only 3,500 inhabitants spread across 2 main islands, the social curiosities are fascinating. There is only one cinema, 2 main bars, and community parties are events that mobilize practically the entire population. The isolated geography has created a unique culture where neighbors become family out of necessity, and where personal conflicts can affect the entire dynamic of the community. Imagine living in a place where having a disagreement with someone could potentially mean not having anywhere to buy bread anymore, because there's only one bakery in town. The geographic isolation of the Falkland Islands has developed social traditions you won't find anywhere else in the world. Every Saturday night, the local social club becomes the epicenter of nightlife, where everyone from teenagers to the elderly gather to dance, play cards, and share the week's news. One of the most interesting curiosities is that all the residents develop multiple skills out of necessity. The local accountant is also a DJ at the parties, the mechanic plays guitar at the church, and the nurse organizes cooking competitions. This forced versatility creates extraordinarily strong social bonds, but it can also be stifling for people used to the anonymity of big cities. But here's the secret that changes everything. Those who manage to adapt to the isolation of the Falkland Islands often discover a social quality of life they've never experienced before. There's no rush, no traffic, and children grow up in a freedom and safety that feel like something from another century. The community functions like a large extended family, where taking care of one another isn't just courtesy, it's survival. The unique geography of the islands has eliminated many of the problems of urban society, but it has created other unique challenges that test human adaptability. And when you combine all these factors, legal, economic, professional, and social, you begin to understand why living in the Falkland Islands is a privilege reserved for only a few people in the world. After discovering all these secrets about the Falkland Islands, one question hangs in the air: what are you going to do with this knowledge? While most people continue dreaming of impossible destinations, you now understand the reality behind one of the most exclusive places on the planet. But here's the crucial point: these same barriers and challenges that make the Falklands inaccessible exist on a smaller scale in many opportunities in your life. How many times have you given up on something because it seemed impossible or too exclusive? The geography of the Falkland Islands teaches us a valuable lesson: the most valuable places and opportunities always have entry barriers. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies not only in resources, but in preparation, persistence, and the willingness to adapt to completely different realities. So tell me, what is your personal Falkland Islands? What opportunity have you been avoiding because it seems too exclusive or too complicated? And more importantly, what are you doing to qualify for those opportunities?